Something I should have talked about back when the pandemic started is equipment prices. I get a lot of questions about equipment prices. And I've sent out and I've gotten quotes for equipment as this year's gone on. Prices have gone up. One of the things people don't realize is a lot of big dealers noticed they had a huge demand, so they started asking more for the same machine they were asking before at a certain price. They might have had it in stock, the factory might have already had it built. They automatically started asking more. Something that happened in my area was my dealer, who owns 42 laundromats, had planned to retool, I think, 3 or 4 stores. They canceled all their orders. Okay, they canceled all their orders at the beginning of the pandemic. And a lot of you would be like, well, the reason they did that is because they were afraid. They didn't know if they'd have money. That was part of it. The other thing that's going on is they wanted to wait that out. And you'd think, well, okay, if they know, I mean, they're the dealer. I mean, they should know what's going on at the factory or Speed Queen, right? They still haven't bought new equipment. They're waiting. So many people right now are buying equipment that top loaders and Horizons you can't get till next year. This is July of 2021. They are already telling people if you buy them today, you're not going to see them till the middle of 2022. Hard mounts you can still get, but it's going to be December or January before they show up if you ordered them today, if you're lucky. Dryers, I don't know where they're at. I didn't ask that question. But what is going to happen, it's going to be a lot like Bitcoin, lumber, Dogecoin, stock market. These laundromats are going to run out of money. You got to remember, laundromat's a weird industry or business. I call it a business. You'll see a lot of people call it an industry, whatever. It's a weird business because what happens is every so many years, all these laundromats will go buy brand new equipment. Well, then now for the next 15 years, they don't need to buy anything. And you think, well, every year different laundromats upgrade. Well, in the pandemic, they got so much PPP loans, the free money, that they all upgraded at the same time. The ones that hadn't upgraded 10 years ago or 5 years ago or a year ago upgraded. In my area, they all upgraded. So I know my dealer isn't looking at it this way, but in a few years, a year from now, he's going to be hurting for sales because everybody has bought new equipment. So nobody needs this equipment. Then you're going to have a glut of used equipment hitting the market that nobody wants because nobody's going to want someone else's junk for a while. They'll hand-pick some of it, but for the most part, they won't want it. So what's going to happen is come December, come January, come February of next year, you're going to see dealers giving incentives for laundromats to buy equipment, new equipment. You're going to see the low interest. You're going to see a lot of deals out there. And you're going to see lower prices on machines. Right now, if you wanted to buy a top loader, because they're so in demand, I know that's funny because you think top loaders are horrible. I usually buy a top loader from anywhere from $850 to $1,000 a machine. Right now, they are not budging below list price. And Speed Queen's list price on a top loader is like $1,600. I know dealers that they're not budging because they can't get them from the factory, so it's in such demand, they're charging above what they would normally charge. Just like a Horizon is normally anywhere from $1,600 to $2,000. They're charging $2,200, $2,300, $2,400 for them right now. I wouldn't buy them at any price. But that's what they're doing because of the demand. So these are the times when you own a business, you have to sit back, you have to take a minute and realize what's going on and just maintain your establishment. If you have junk equipment and you're not making any money, well, then you're in a totally different boat. But if you have like me, I have used equipment that I could trade out all the time. I have equipment that's 10 years old. I have equipment that is 2 years old. So I'm constantly doing it. I buy a little all the time. Kind of like dollar cost averaging in the stock market. I buy equipment throughout different years. I don't just lump it all in. Mainly because I'm a small laundromat owner. Mainly because I don't want to go whole hog into a bunch of equipment and a big payment. I just work it as I go. If you can maintain your equipment, this is a perfect time just to hold on, maintain it, fix the few little headaches you got, and keep going. As long as it's clean, as long as it works, and as long as people are happy using your laundromat, they're going to keep coming back, and your prices are good. These big companies are overpaying right now. I think you're going to be in for a sticker shock in a year from now when they come down in prices, when they can't give the stuff away. Because at the beginning of the pandemic, Speed Queen was scared they weren't going to be able to give equipment away. So they were actually discounting stuff in the first couple of weeks of the pandemic really happening, around that March, April time. But once those 2 months of that middle, what they call it, the smallest recession ever, ended, all of a sudden they started charging more because they saw the demand picking up. They saw the PPE loan money coming in. That will run out, just like stimulus will run out, just like the unemployment will run out. And when that does, that is going to trigger a point where Speed Queen is going to have to go back to the prices. They may not go all the way down, but they will go considerably down. There won't be as much demand for them. There'll be better deals out there. Just letting you know. Most of you probably already know that. A lot of my viewers are really smart. They've seen this. They see all the different areas. It is going to happen to every sector, like you're seeing lumber coming down. It is going to come down in cars. You know, this is all going to happen all across the board, just a little at a time. So, just figured I'd pass that along in case you're out there looking for equipment and you're going, I can't even get any. I would hold and wait at this point in the game because I wouldn't buy a car right now. I wouldn't buy lumber right now. I wouldn't buy anything unless you really had to because this is nuts. You know, it's just nutty time. So, take it easy.